Hello everyone, this is Veil Grimace here to bring you a review for Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy XVI is a great game that comes from Square Enix. It has intense action, exciting gameplay, long cutscenes, and a wonderful storyline that captivates you with amazing visuals. Let's start off with the combat. The combat is the most easiest part of this game. I was playing on story mode, which centers more around a more cinematic experience when you fight. You use the action button to cycle through multiple powers called Eikons, which gives our main character Clive most of his abilities. You mainly use one button to attack, and Clive will automatically lock onto enemies and teleport to them to deal some real damage. The combat itself is quite automatic. You hardly control Clive at all. In fact, you will barely control him as he will teleport to enemies on the fly, attacking in quick succession with the action button. You have multiple abilities ranging from fire, wind, electricity, rock, ice, and dragon. Each moveset has its own abilities and powers that give its own flair. But like I said, the game's combat is supremely easy. I hardly felt a challenge when fighting most of the game's enemies. And in the whole game, I only managed to die 3 times, and those deaths were due to BS if you ask me. You dodge with the R1 button, but I found the dodge to be not that reliable when it came to dodging. It will either slow down time and give you a prompt when to dodge, or you try to dodge them yourself, and you might not make it out of the radius of some of these attacks, which will have you get hit most of the time if you're not careful. How is the world? Well, it's a linear story that will have you travel from place to place depending on what mission you need to complete at a time. It's not a big open world like it was in Final Fantasy XV, but it's a linear experience, which is something I didn't mind. It will feel on rails most of the time, but as you play, the world opens up into branching paths for you to explore. But you won't be able to go anywhere as the areas are quite limited depending on where you go. It's a great world with tons of content for you to do and monsters to kill. The game consists of main story quests and side quests. The side quests are extremely boring. There's a ton of variety between them, but they will feel the same as most of the side quests will consist of fetching an item for an engine, or delivering soup to tables. The game literally makes you deliver meals to customers, and I couldn't have been more bored of the side quests. The side quests in God of War 2018 are far more engaging and varied than Final Fantasy XVI side quests. The main story quests are where most of the exciting parts of the game is at. Square Enix really put out most of its focus on the main story because that's where the game really shines. So, how is the story? The story is fantastic. I think they really put out all the stops to provide us a genuine Final Fantasy experience with great characters. You start off the story following Clive through the land of Valisthea. From there, you discover his origins and where he's from, what happens to him in the past, and that makes him the man he is today. You discover what Eikons are, and the story of the Phoenix that becomes the main center point in the story along with a monster named Ifrit, a large fire-breathing demon that has a lot of power in its fiery vessel. You then follow Clive into discovering what Mother Crystals are, and destroying them, and trying to defy fate against a villain known as Ultima, a powerful being that deems itself a god based upon him creating the world as we know it. The story itself is a gripping tale that has endless fun to be had. It changes drastically throughout the story. You meet characters such as Cid and Allah that helps you along your journey, and Waifu, also known as Dill, who becomes your companion and was once your childhood friend before Clive had his incident. something you'll learn if you play the game or watch my Let's Play of it. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because this game is something you have to experience for yourself. The game has a great story, weak gameplay if you like spamming the action button whenever you want to attack. The side content is weak. You'll find yourself avoiding it altogether if you like monotonous, repetitive side quests. The story itself is quite useless. You'll hardly find yourself using it because you hardly get any gear or weapons that are worth a damn. It's a great game in terms of story. It's everything else that falters for me because of how tedious or useless a lot of the vendors are. You even get a blacksmith in the game, but he's pretty much useless as you will mostly use the shop to get most of your weapons as they are higher in damage. You will hardly use any of the blacksmith's items because there's better weapons in the shop for more bang for your buck. In conclusion, the story is fantastic, but the side content, the stores, the combat is very weak. It's a great game if you're here for the story, but everything else needs a lot of work in order to really shine. In my final score, I'm giving Final Fantasy XVI 7 Chocobos out of 10. Thank you so much for hearing me ramble, and thank you for clicking on my video. Like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!